Hello and welcome to the second episode of BWAC, Brain Injury What a Kerfuffle.
Good afternoon, it's me again.
So initially we thought we might do another episode midweek, but how did you feel after recording
To be honest, I was exhausted. I couldn't even really know what I was saying myself.
by the end of it?
Yeah. But onward and upward.
So Bob had said he didn't want to script these podcasts. He just wanted it to be spontaneous so that he can channel his inner
whatever. Yeah.
Ronnie Corbett or somebody. Yeah. And we had a quick listen back to the end of the last podcast, which is where we said we'd go on and talk about your second stroke, didn't we? So I made some notes. And so you had your first stroke in May 2015 and in June 2016. So initially, I think last week you said you didn't have many side effects from that stroke, or you couldn't remember.
Not the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. But I actually looked back at an email that I sent to this private psychologist in the hope that we could get some help because Bob had been discharged from the stroke team. And in that email, I noted that you were suffering with fatigue, having difficulty implementing actions like putting socks on, word finding, and sometimes some slurred speech. But I think overall your speech was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Emotional lability.
Which means? I think it means you swing from happy to sad and back.
Yeah. And I wrote, which is very posh, cyclical lack of motivation.
You have to help me with that one.
So in the email, I specifically reported looking after your diabetes. So I think it must have meant at that time that you were like sometimes doing stuff and sometimes not doing stuff. You know, like having the motivation to do things to take care of yourself, basically.
That's right.
Yes, that was in June 2016. And she wrote back and said that the brain injury unit were available, which I think we covered last time, didn't we? And then I can't remember. I'm sure you had your second stroke in the July, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, maybe, that you came through. Do you remember what you experienced for your second stroke?
I think, if I may be wrong, I mean, I often am. I think it felt like it was my right wrist and hand were really painful. And other than that, there was not much, just this weird, painful hand.
Do you recall what you were trying to do when you came
through?
Yeah,
it was I was shutting the curtains in the bedroom before bed. And as I was trying to draw them, my fingers kept slipping off the pleats every time. I just couldn't shut the curtains. That's one of our dogs.
Apologies, I just paused the recording briefly to give the dogs a fishy treat in the hope they shut up.
Yeah, so the curtains.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't close the curtains. And I come through as if my hand's really
weird
and painful.
And I can't remember whether it was a Friday or Saturday, but it was definitely an out of hours job again, wasn't it? So yeah, I think I said to you, "You're not having another stroke, are you?" And you went, "No, I'm not." Just like we'd have any clue after the first one.
I think we ended up on the stroke ward, didn't we? I don't know how we got there. But...
No, I think that night, no, we went to A&E and we sat actually in, despite saying, and I used to be an ED nurse back in the day, so I am being a bit critical. I remember saying to one of my ex-colleagues, you know, that it could potentially be, even though we didn't think it was, but we thought, you know, we did say it could potentially be an extension of the stroke, but because the because the symptoms were so vague and
that was the only.
Yeah, they actually left you sitting in the waiting room for an hour, and then I don't think we saw a medical doctor for a couple of hours after. And she did say your balance was a bit iffy, but I remember I brought you home the same day. Yeah, you weren't admitted after that one. You were admitted after the heart attack the next year.
But in my memory, which again, I don't know if there's anything in reality, I'm sure I was at the stroke ward, and I'm sure that they said they were happy that it was a sprained wrist, and they gave me a splint, and
I thought they scanned you from ED.
They might have done. This is as good as our facts get.
Yeah, and to be honest, I can't remember because there's been so much. You may well have been admitted to the ward and had you scanned there and then been discharged.
Anyway,
basically, they did do a second CT scan and they said it was fine, and thought that it was a nerve damage in the wrist because due to you wrapping the dog lead around your wrist, walking the dog.
Because I'd been pulled over by the dog and had a small fracture in my elbow. I think it was all the same time.
No. If we were on video now, that would be perfect.
I'm just getting perplexed.
Yeah, I can't really remember. I'm going to have to go on Facebook and look at the memories of when you were admitted and things. And we, in a way, it's not really important, is
Perhaps we should try and continue with what we think we know. Yeah.
So what I definitely know is that you came home, and then over a period of time,
and it wasn't that long.
And it wasn't that long, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you deteriorated significantly, didn't you? But as luck would have it, on the other hand, the referral for a brain injury team actually meant that you were being seen whilst you were deteriorating from the second stroke, if that makes any sense. So you developed significant difficulty with your speech, didn't you?
Yes. Doing things, getting the kind of motivation to do anything. Even something as simple as signing a letter could take me a couple of hours to finally write it out.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't slice bread. I'd just stand there holding the knife. I could put my trousers on in the morning. I'd get them halfway up and I'd stop. And I'd sit there until Sarah said, "Come on, pull them all the way up." But in the meantime, maybe 3 or 4 hours have passed, and I'm still sat with them halfway up. And it was anything that required me to do anything really. I just couldn't get the thing started.
Yeah. And the speech therapist, so do you recall what your speech was like and what the difficulties you were having after the second stroke?
I think it was more, to my mind though, I couldn't pronounce words, or I couldn't really recognise lots of things. Like, I knew what a fork was, but I couldn't say that's a fork.
Yeah.
It was also things like that. So I knew what everything was, but I just couldn't find the words for it. What was the other thing I had with it?
Yeah, you stuttered a lot. You couldn't get words out.
Couldn't get words out. I'd have long gaps of, presumably that was part of trying to get a word out.
Yeah, and you got incredibly frustrated, didn't you? Because you wanted that word and you would not move on with the conversation until you had that word.
That's right. But, you know, As ever, they can't keep a good man down.
So what was incredibly helpful was Nia, the speech therapist. She came here to assess your speech and she took you off into the dining room, didn't she? And took you through all the assessments and things. And honestly, I think if Nia hadn't been available and hadn't seen you when she did, I think the sort of outcome for you and your speech would have been a lot different.
She was kind of the trigger to improve things, wasn't she?
Yeah. Because it was quite scary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thinking, oh my God, this is like obviously damage that's been done because it's obviously a stroke and not a wrist injury.
Yeah.
But Nia was able to say that she knew exactly what was going on with you, and it wasn't a memory issue. It was, because of the damaged part of the brain, and give you hints and tips of how to
get around
it. Yeah.
And she did say, your memory's fine. It's just your filing cabinet's been pushed over.
Yeah.
And everything's scrambled on the floor.
Yeah.
But you will pick it up.
Yeah. And interestingly, the second stroke was also a brainstem stroke, so both of the strokes that you had on paper potentially could have been fatal or could have been catastrophic in as much as you could have lost all function or most of your function. And so we're very, very grateful that obviously that wasn't the case. And I kind of wonder if it's because we didn't know you were having strokes both times and you just kept on as best you could.
Carried on as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing was we actually were going to Chester, weren't we, to look for a car?
Yes.
And we went on a little test drive, and you got really confused, disoriented, and like quite angry because you didn't know where you were. Do you remember going around that roundabout?
Yeah.
And that was an indication as well, obviously, that this was a stroke and not.
I really felt, looking back, I could have gone round for a couple of hours and not pulled off because I didn't know where to go.
Yeah. And so I think it's only your sheer bloody-mindedness that you kept going. You knew that something wasn't right, but you kept going. Yeah. I actually feel quite sad talking about it now because it was, it wasn't that tough for me at that time, but it was tough for you.
But isn't it funny? I think it was really tough for you.
Yeah.
Not for me. Even though I suppose I could say I was in the eye of the hurricane.
Yeah.
I was in the peaceful bit and you were kind of fighting your way through the hurricane.
I think at the beginning as well. So after the first stroke in 2015, you were mobile, you could walk up the village. So we live rurally. Our roads aren't that busy. But you could go out by yourself with a walking stick and the dog and walk up the village, and you could maybe do half a mile, couldn't you, up to the farm up there and then back. You'd be shattered, but you could do it. Whereas after the second stroke, your balance just went to cock, didn't it?
Yeah.
And you just kept falling over.
There wasn't a day went past that I didn't fall over somewhere. Sometimes 2 or 3 times for what you consider the silliest reasons, but they're not. But I did say, and I did do it, if I felt I was falling, I started. You're laughing at me now.
No, it's brilliant then.
I used to try and aim for somewhere that was safe for me.
You used to aim for the dog bed, didn't you?
Yeah, because I was covered in scratches and nicks and bruises. And you'd think I was getting battered, and I want to reassure you, my wife never laid a finger on me. It was all on my own making.
Because you were falling when I wasn't here.
Yeah.
You fell on the log burner, you fell on...
Scraped on my side, and Sarah came in, have to put dressings on me. But it's all part and parcel of getting there, I think. I never lost faith,
And you didn't, that's true. Yeah. The speech issues were something that you found very frustrating, but then also because of your balance and just general struggling with sort of everything, basically. You didn't want to go out, did you, either? And the sort of emotional ability, so the rapid spiral between happy and angry was really triggered outside the house, wasn't it, around other people, especially if people were being rude, and also because you couldn't walk, and I was pushing you in a wheelchair, and you hated me pushing you in that wheelchair, didn't you, because I'm a crab driver.
I mean, if you've ever been in a wheelchair across a lot of cobbles, you'll know how unpleasant it can be. But you just remind me of something. It's by getting angry and irritated. We have a sign next to our front door saying, "Please don't knock or ring unless you have an appointment." It's in bright red, you can easily see it. And people still knocked. I didn't see the sign. And those times I did lose my temper in a calm way, but I'd really told them they could do one because I couldn't cope with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And you went through a phase at the beginning after your second stroke as well. If we were out in a shop or something and somebody reached across you, you'd have a go at them.
Yeah.
And then we just started saying, "Sorry, he's had a stroke." Sorry, he's had a stroke. So initially, you didn't want people to know that you'd had a stroke either, did you? Because I think you were just feeling quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're at 16 minutes.
I know.
There's a lot
We
there
may have to go
unpack, really, isn't it?
to 3.
Yeah.
I think we can go on to 20.
Yeah.
And then we can, because I'm not talking quite so much this week.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you would get quite annoyed and quite angry and quite upset, really.
Yeah. Can I just rewind you back to Nia?
Yes.
The other thing she said was about initiation. That was why I was sitting there for hours with my trousers around my knees. That's why I was there.
It's more often your socks in your hands, isn't it?
Unable to sign anything or. It was all down to initiation. The bit that says, "Right, do it," wasn't saying it anymore, so I couldn't do it. Yeah. And the other thing that used to really annoy me, my right hand, if I was holding anything, especially cups, my hand would just open and I'd drop the cup.
Yeah.
And I lost many a cup of coffee that way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the other thing, sorry, just saying the dog shush. The other thing that we noticed from old documentation, because Bob had to apply for ESA at that time, and yeah, just things that you used to be able to do that you knew. So one of the examples was you could use the microwave if it was something that you were used to doing, but if it was a new microwave, it was really difficult for you to learn how to use it, wasn't it? And also things like making a cup of coffee, you'd pour the water into the jar of coffee.
Yeah. More than once.
Yeah. I tried you with some instant porridge and I left the packet in the bowl, didn't I? And you put the milk in the packet and put the packet in the microwave.
Yeah. Made a mess of the back.
And what else was there? I put something on to cook in the kitchen.
Oh, I was doing something, washing up.
And you were washing the dishes. And
you came in.
It was, yeah, I'd actually forgotten that I'd put the thing on the stove, and the kitchen was full of smoke, and there's Bob still washing his plates. And I said, "Why didn't you call me?" And he said, "Because I never put it on." And you just were totally oblivious to the fact that something was burning.
The house could have been going up.
Yeah. But what I want to say is most of those things have improved, and some of the things raise their head when you're tired.
Yes.
So you could walk, but you would drag your foot.
Yes.
You could hold stuff, but not very well in the beginning. You're writing, you couldn't hold a pen and write very well. But with practice, that has improved.
My signature's still a problem. I have to keep moving my hands to try and rehearse it. I can't just write it. I've got to.
Yeah.
I'm spinning my hand around here.
Yeah, you do. You have to practice it a few times in the air before you actually put the pen to the paper, don't you?
Yeah.
But your speech is come on marvellously, and I think we should talk about that on the next episode and some of the things that helped you and helped me.
I did say before this, was listening back to the last episode made me realise that my speech actually wasn't as good as I thought it was. Not that it bothered me. I've had a stroke. I not deliberately doing it.
Yeah. But it's so much better than it was as well, which is really something. So, okay, we're at 20 minutes and 48 seconds. And my husband's whispering at me, as he does. That's another thing he does, actually, that he never used to do before. If you had something to say, you'd just confidently say it, wouldn't you? But now, even with Alexa, if we're doing question of the day, he'll whisper the answer to me so I can tell her. Something you do quite a lot. Okay, so bwacpodcast@gmail.com is our email. We may at some point put a socials page up.
Yes.
But I think...
and we are working up to making video podcasts, but we want to get used to just the podcasting bit to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, apologies if our dog hurt your eardrums. And thank you for listening. And
thank you for listening.
We'll end that podcast episode here. See you next time.
Bye.